If you're old enough to remember slider phones, you'll remember just how satisfying that click was. Well, they're back. The Xiaomi Mi Mix 3 reintroduces that classic form factor with a few futuristic tricks up its sleeve. We've seen phones with hidden front-facing cameras before, notably the Oppo Find X and Vivo Nex. The problem with those phones was that the camera mechanism was motorized, adding the double whammy of a motor and a moving part to a device that really should have neither. The Mi Mix 3 sidesteps at least one of those problems by making the slider manual, using neodymium magnets to lock the screen in place. It feels very similar to the slider phones of old, and it's just as fun if you're a phone fidgeter like me. You can also swap out the slider noise, so adding a lightsaber sound effect is just a couple of taps away. The slider isn't just about keeping the dual front-facing cameras hidden though. It also means there's no need for a notch. The slide-out section houses antennas, the earpiece speaker, and facial recognition sensor. If my short time with it is any indication, you can also use it as a great place to start your fluff collection. The front-facing cameras are a 24-megapixel primary sensor from Sony with an f2.2 aperture lens and a secondary 2-megapixel sensor for capturing depth information for portrait mode. The primary lens uses pixel binning to combine light data from 4 adjacent pixels into one super pixel for better low-light selfies. There are 2 cameras on the back as well, both at 12-megapixel resolution. The main sensor is a Sony IMX363 with dual-pixel autofocus with an f1.8 aperture lens with 4-axis OIS. The second sensor is from Samsung and offers 2x optical zoom at f2.4 aperture. Now, Xiaomi made a pretty big deal about the Mi Mix 3's low-light performance, saying it's even better than the Huawei P20 Pro. We'll put that to the test soon and substitute the P20 for the brand new Mate 20 Pro, so keep an eye out for that comparison. The Mi Mix 3 is jam-packed with AI beauty modes, portrait bokeh effects, studio lighting, and face reconstruction software. You'll get Android 9 Pie and MIUI 10 running out of the box, and speaking of the box, inside it you'll get a free 10-watt wireless charger. There's also a 3.5mm USB Type-C headphone adapter because you know there's no room for a headphone jack on this phone. A Quick Charge 3 charging brick is included, although the Mi Mix 3 also supports Quick Charge 4 Plus if you want to buy a compatible charger. Thin plastic case is also in the box, and it works just fine with a slider mechanism. Now, the Mi Mix 3's sliding form factor unfortunately means that the battery capacity took a bit of a hit, coming in at just 3,200 mAh. There's also no IP rating for obvious reasons. NFC is included though, and while it looks like there's stereo speakers on the bottom, only one produces sound, with the other simply housing a microphone. The Mi Mix 3 is once again built out of ceramic and is pretty hefty at 218 grams. That's a whole 10% heavier than the Galaxy Note 9, although the Mi Mix 3 has a slightly smaller footprint despite its 6.39-inch Full HD AMOLED panel, which is also made by Samsung. There's a dedicated voice assistant button on the side for the Xiao AI virtual assistant, but the global version will likely ship with Google Assistant preloaded, as Xiao AI only supports Chinese languages. As for the specs, it's all top-notch stuff: Snapdragon 845, 6 up to 10GB of RAM, and so on. Perhaps the best part about the Mi Mix 3 is that Xiaomi still refuses to overprice its handsets, so the base model with 6GB of RAM and 128GB of UFS 2.1 storage will only set you back the equivalent of $475 US. Even the limited edition Forbidden Palace Museum variant, the one with 5G support and 10GB of RAM, only comes in at $720 US, and it includes a wireless charger and 10GB of free data per month. The Mi Mix 3 goes on sale in China on November 1, with Xiaomi's other global markets soon to follow. There's no regional pricing available for those markets yet, but you can probably work it out based on previous devices. I don't know about you guys, but from the short amount of time I've spent with the Xiaomi Mi Mix 3, I am pretty pumped to see the global version when it rolls out. It's unique, it's retro, it's futuristic, it's jam-packed with great specs, it's very affordable, and it looks great as well. Jump in the comments and let me know what you want to know about the Mi Mix 3. I'll do my best to answer them, and until next time, keep it locked to AndroidAuthority.com because we are your source for all things Android. This is what happens when you set up for a voiceover in a driveway at a hotel in China.